Thank you very much, Mr Deputy Speaker.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. I call the member for Chifley.
Thanks, Deputy Speaker. Now, this motion unwittingly reveals one of the few qualities of the Abbott government. Because I know after their first chaotic budget, not too many people are talking up the qualities of the government and watching them sell what has been described as a stinking carcass of a budget, high praise from their side. It's painfully obvious that the Prime Minister and the Treasurer are struggling in talking up themselves and their own qualities. Now, considering this, I thought I'd lend them a hand and I'd use the member for Gilmore's resolution as well, because you see, the member for Gilmore's resolution champions one of the greatest hidden attributes of the government, which is its sense of irony. Look hard and you'll find that that quality is on display with everything that the government does. The quality's been on show from their first swearing in right through to their first budget. And if you're having trouble identifying this, just check out the responsibilities they've set up for their ministers. A Prime Minister who shaped a ministry with the lowest level of female representation in living memory, he's the Minister for Women. An industry minister that oversees the closure of industries. A health minister whose biggest job right now is discouraging the sick from seeing a doctor. A social services minister that is cutting the incomes of young and employed, making sure they have less money for things such as, I don't know, food and rent, but making sure they got a couple of $100 for marriage counselling. An infrastructure minister that's distanced himself from any infrastructure project that doesn't involve building a road. He should just rebadge himself the Minister for Tar, and he's helped by the member for Mayo, the Assistant Minister for Tar. But the greatest, the finest, blaring example of irony, a Minister for Communications tasked with the slow death of one of the biggest communications projects in the country, the NBN. And he's ably supported by backbenchers who run interference, creating confusion and dismay about a project that will actually benefit their own electorates. Here is a regional member of parliament, backed up by 3 regional members of parliament today, arguing against improving the quality of infrastructure in their own patch. What are we going to see next? A Conservative government argue for lifting the taxes on the well-off? No, they've done that one too. So we've got here the government turning NBN into what's been described as a CBN, a copper broadband network, and they're not doing anything inventive. All they're doing is reverting to type, the type that's dogged them from the last time they were in government, where they had 20 failed broadband plans, tinkering with copper when fibre is what will be required to get the job done and done right. Instead of 93% of homes being connected with fibre, the coalition will only connect 26% this way. That's what these regional members are applauding here today. Instead of ensuring complete coverage by satellite and wireless in those hard-to-reach areas, these members are chanting for a $80 million mobile phone tower program where data costs will be higher and speeds will be slower. They're presiding over a plan described by veteran analysts as a dog's breakfast. Paul Budd described as a dog's breakfast. It's so bad the promises they've made at the election have already been dropped, for example 25 megabits per second by 2016. So what's the member for Gilmore talking about when she talks about the NBN? In this resolution, it's not about the network itself, she's focused on reviews. Reviews. Since government's come to office, they haven't been rolling out fibre, they've been rolling out red carpet to consultants. You can't see, when I see the minister out and about wearing a fluoro vest, I don't know why. He's not building a network, he's building a Brandis-esque library of consultant reviews and reports. And if they're not, and if they're not rolling around in glee making snow angels out of the invoices that the consultants have sent them, they're working hard to suppress different views on the NBN. You only have to look. I've been surprised to see, for instance, reports that the ABC is withholding reports about the NBN because they don't want to upset their new masters, and they're failing to report on the National Broadband Network. Now, make no doubt about it, people want fibre to the premises. They don't want the coalition's CBN, they want the NBN. I know this from my own area, where I've often raised the concerns of local residents in Woodcroft and Doonside. Now, fortunately, and to their credit, in April the government reversed a terrible decision they made in December where they dropped these suburbs from the rollout. But while one half will get the NBN, the other half won't. And there are patches of these suburbs that are bizarrely omitted. Now, the Shadow Minister for Communications attended a forum I held earlier this month where residents expressed a clear view they wanted the job done properly. And in the words I think signal a firm view across modern Australia, it was told, "This is Australia, not a third world country. There are other countries worse than us that have better broadband service. If I have a right to vote, I should have a right to better broadband. That's the expectation of modern Australia, not what these people are delivering.
The members